The stars looked calm from a distance, but every human ship knew the truth. Space was never calm. It watched. It waited. And sometimes, it warned. The patrol carrier Resolute Dawn moved through the edge of human space on a slow, steady course. Its crew knew this border better than anyone. It was the line no alien crossed. Not anymore. Not after the First Contact War. Not after the price of arrogance, as the galaxy later called it. But tonight, something felt wrong. Even the AI said nothing, and that silence frightened everyone more than alarms ever could. Commander Ellismar stood on the bridge beside the captain's chair, hands behind his back. He was calm, but his calm was the kind deep water has before a storm. His eyes stayed locked on the hologram map, watching a cluster of faint signals appear and disappear like ghosts. They were weak, too weak to be a fleet. And too scattered to be debris. Something was moving out there, many somethings, and none of them broadcast any identification. In human space, that was already a crime. Lieutenant Rena Hale checked her instruments again. She tried to keep her voice even, but it shook anyway. Commander. Whatever they are, they're not answering hails. They're not even pretending to hide. They're just drifting closer. Commander Marr didn't look away from the map. How close? 20,000 kilometers and closing. Hale swallowed. At this speed. Less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes before unknown signals crossed into restricted space. 5 minutes before humanity's most sacred rule had to be enforced. The rule every species in the galaxy had learned the hard way. No one enters human space uninvited. Captain Arden Voss finally walked onto the bridge, fastening the top of his jacket. He had been asleep for only an hour, but he already looked fully awake. He had the calm face of someone who had seen war and survived it, but not without a heavy cost. He took his seat and studied the map for only a moment before speaking. Are we under attack? No, Marr said carefully. Not yet. But they're coming in. No formation. No pattern. Just drifting. Drifting, Voss repeated. That means disabled ships. Or decoys. The crew had no answer. Nervous silence filled every corner of the bridge. 3 minutes. The lights dimmed for a moment as the ship shifted power to shields. Across the ship, the engines hummed louder. The Resolute Dawn had seen battles before, skirmishes, pirate raids, even attempts by young alien races trying to test human borders. None of them succeeded. Humanity's territory remained sealed. Secure. Untouched. But tonight felt different. The signals outside finally drifted close enough to appear on the main screen. Everyone expected enemy ships. Maybe damaged vessels. Maybe drones. No one expected what they saw. The objects were escape pods. Hundreds of them. Spinning slowly, with no power, no heat, and barely any life support left. Some were burned. Others cracked. A few were completely dark. They carried the markings of 3 different alien species, enemies, rivals, and even one species humanity barely knew. All drifting toward human space like a tide of broken shells. Life signs? Captain Voss asked. Hale shook her head. Weak. Very weak. Some pods have only one survivor. Some have none. Commander Marr finally looked away from the map. This isn't an attack. This is a message. But from who? Hale whispered. Voss asked, can any of the pods transmit? Only one, Hale said. It's powering on and off. I can patch it through. The captain nodded. A moment later, the screen flickered with static, then showed the cracked, dim interior of a pod. A single alien stared into the camera. Its skin was pale and peeling. Its eyes, once bright, were clouded. It tried to speak, but the first few sounds were just choked gasps. Finally, the translator caught something. Humans. Listen. The bridge froze. They are coming. Voss leaned forward. Who is coming? The alien coughed hard. Blood floated in the air inside the pod. We warned them. We told them to turn back. They did not believe. Who didn't believe? Marr asked. The Empire, the alien breathed, trembling. The Grand Sovereign. Declared human space empty. Undefended. Weak. A bitter, dying laugh escaped its mouth. They were wrong. The pod's power failed. The image vanished. Silence filled the bridge again, but not the calm kind. It was the silence before lightning strikes. 1 minute. Captain Voss stood slowly, as though the weight of the galaxy had just shifted onto his shoulders. Prepare to recover survivors. Lock down medical. Put every Marine on alert. No one touches human soil without screening. Commander Marr nodded and gave the orders, his voice steady even though his heart pounded. What do you think happened to them? Hale whispered. Before Mar could answer, new signals appeared on the map, strong, steady, and massive. A fleet. A large one. And it was coming fast. But this time, the ships weren't drifting. They were moving with purpose. Moving like hunters. And they were aimed directly at the broken pods. Captain, Mar said, his voice low. Those ships. They're not slowing down. No, Voss said softly. They're chasing. The galaxy had always believed humanity was dangerous. Tonight, the galaxy would learn why. The Resolute Dawn moved fast as its crew began pulling escape pods into its hangar. Gravity clamps locked onto drifting metal shells, and recovery arms pulled them inside with careful, practiced movements. Marines in sealed armor waited in 2 tight rows, rifles lowered but ready. Every alien pod was treated like a possible threat, even when the survivors inside looked barely alive. The first pod hissed open, steam rising. Inside lay a small figure, thin and shaking, its skin cracked like old stone. 2 medics rushed forward, checked for weapons, then carried the alien to a stretcher. No one spoke. The silence felt heavy, like everyone carried the same question. What kind of power could crush 3 different species at once and leave them begging for human help? Commander Ellis Mar watched 3 more pods being opened. 2 were empty. 1 held a body, no life signs, no chance. Mar's jaw tightened. This was no normal border incident. Something terrible had swept through these aliens' territory. Something strong enough to break fleets. Captain Voss stepped into the hangar, his face grim. Any of them awake enough to talk? Not yet, Mar answered. Most won't make it another hour without medical support. Voss sighed. Give them everything we can. But keep every Marine on standby. Whatever chased them may still be coming. The captain walked back toward the bridge when the ship's AI spoke through the overhead speakers, its calm voice impossible to ignore. Alert. Unknown fleet accelerating toward human space. Estimated time to intercept, 15 minutes. Mar and Voss exchanged a look. 15 minutes was nothing. Just enough time to breathe once before a fight. On the bridge, Lieutenant Hale had her hands flying across the controls. They're not slowing, Captain. And they're scanning us. Active or passive? Mar asked. Active. Bold, open, and unfriendly. Captain Voss took his seat and rubbed his thumb across the armrest. Then they want us to know they're coming. What's the fleet configuration? Mar asked. Hale swallowed. 28 ships. Mostly cruisers and destroyers. 1 heavy battleship at the center. And markings? Unknown. The word hung in the air like a blade. Most species marked their ships clearly, only 2 types didn't: pirates, who never had this kind of power, and empires who believed themselves superior to everyone else. Mar looked at the map again. They're headed straight for the pods. Meaning they're hunting survivors, Voss said. And they're willing to cross into human space to get them, Mar added. That alone was shocking. No empire had dared enter human territory in decades. Not since the First Contact War, when human fleets crushed far larger forces with brutal efficiency. The galaxy still remembered the human message that had echoed on every channel afterward. No species enters human space again. Ever. And yet here they were. Charging in. Hale's voice trembled. Should I send a warning transmission? Yes, Voss said. Send it on all channels. The ship broadcast the old message again. A warning older than most officers on board. A warning written in blood. This is human space. Withdraw immediately or face full retaliation. No answer came back. The fleet kept moving. Hale whispered, they don't care. Mar's voice hardened. Or they think they're stronger. Voss tapped a control on his chair. Put all batteries on standby. Lock missile bays. Prepare point defense. The ship came alive around them. Lights dimmed. Bulkheads sealed. Turrets unfolded from armored plates. The crew felt the shift, like the carrier itself was holding its breath, waiting. Then one of the survivor aliens finally woke. The intercom buzzed. Bridge, this is medical. 1 survivor is conscious and requesting immediate contact. Voss stood. I'll go. Mar, you have the bridge. Commander Mar nodded, though worry crossed his face. Be careful. We don't know what they're capable of. Neither do they, Voss said with a small, grim smile. He made his way to medical, where bright white lights reflected off stainless steel surfaces. The alien lay on a bed, its skin pale and bruised. Its breathing was weak. Its eyes, however, were sharp with fear. Voss approached slowly. You asked for me? The alien struggled to sit up. A medic gently pushed it back down. It coughed before speaking, The translator picking up its quiet voice. You must flee, it whispered. All of you. Leave this place. Voss stayed calm. This is our territory. We do not run. You do not understand. The alien gasped. The Grand Sovereign sent his purity fleet. They believe no human remains strong. They believe your old war was luck. They mean to test your borders. To claim your space. To prove your weakness. Voss frowned. Why chase you? They forced us to join their attack. We refused. They destroyed our fleets, burned our homes, crushed our stations. We fled. He hunts us still. Voss leaned closer. He intends to cross into human space? The alien grabbed his sleeve with surprising strength. No. He believes he is already inside human space. He believes he has the right. He believes he is unstoppable. A tremor passed through the ship. Alarms lit the hall. The medic looked up. What was that? The overhead AI spoke, louder than before. Alert! Enemy fleet has crossed the boundary line. They have entered human space. The alien closed its eyes. Too late. They are here. Voss stood slowly, his face turning cold, controlled, and filled with something old and dangerous. Then the galaxy, he said softly, is about to remember what happens next. He walked out, heading back to the bridge. Because now, the price of arrogance had come due again. The bridge of the Resolute Dawn was silent when Captain Voss returned, but it was a sharp, focused silence. Every officer watched the hologram map where the enemy fleet now glowed in harsh red as it crossed fully into human space. Commander Marr looked up as Voss stepped in. They didn't slow, Marr said. They crossed the line without hesitation. Captain Voss took his seat. Then they've made their choice. Lieutenant Hale reported in a tense voice, enemy fleet is spreading formation. Their battleship is taking point. We're receiving a broadcast. A message? Marr asked. More like a declaration, Hale said. Audio only. Put it through, Voss said. A deep voice filled the bridge. Cold. Proud. Drenched in arrogance. This territory belongs to the Grand Sovereign. All who resist will kneel or be erased. Surrender the fugitives. Surrender your ship. Human vessels are obsolete relics. You will not be warned twice. The transmission ended. Hale stared at her screen as if unsure she heard correctly. Sir. They know we're human. They don't care. Marr exhaled slowly. Or they truly believe they can win. Voss's face hardened. Open a channel. The crew straightened. No one wanted to miss this. When Voss spoke, his voice was calm and clear, like cold metal. You have crossed into human space. Withdraw immediately. Final warning. There was no answer. Instead, the enemy fleet increased speed. Hale's eyes widened. They're targeting us. Marr stood tall. Weapons free? Voss nodded. Weapons free. The ship moved instantly. Turrets powered up. Missiles slid into launch tubes. The hum of the engines deepened into a growl as the Resolute Dawn turned to face the incoming fleet. The enemy battleship fired first. A bright spear of energy shot across the void, striking the Resolute Dawn's forward shields. The ship shook, lights flickering. Shields holding, Hale shouted. Minor drain, but stable. More shots followed. A rain of fire. The ship shook again and again, but the shields held firm. Marr smiled slightly. So this is their unstoppable power. They tested us, Voss said. Now we answer. The first volley of human missiles launched, dozens of them, fast and silent. The enemy tried to jam them, but human tech was built differently. Smarter. Meaner. The missiles curved around countermeasures like predators adjusting to prey. The first 3 slammed into an enemy cruiser. The explosion lit the screen like a newborn star. Hale gasped. Direct hits. Their cruiser is breaking apart. Another missile volley struck a destroyer, splitting it open. Its engines blew out in a chain reaction. 2 ships down. Hale called. A sudden crackle of static filled the room as the enemy fleet tried jamming human sensors. But human jamming resistant systems cut through it like it wasn't even there. The enemy battleship responded with full firepower, heavy cannons, plasma beams, and swarms of drones. The Resolute Dawn rolled to the side, dodging the worst of it. Point defense lasers sliced through the incoming drones. Human gunnery teams fired precisely, almost calmly. Marr leaned forward. Increase thrust. Bring us under their formation. The ship dove like a hunting falcon. Enemy cruisers tried to follow but overshot. Marr gave new orders. All forward batteries, fire. The ship unleashed a storm of kinetic rounds. They tore through the underside of the enemy formation, smashing through armor plates like they were thin glass. 3 more ships exploded. The enemy battleship pushed ahead, ignoring the losses, firing all weapons without restraint. It was massive and powerful, a monster of thick armor and heavy guns. Even so, it struggled to keep up with the smaller, faster human vessel. Hale's voice shook behind her focus. "Sir. They're trying to flank us with 2 destroyers." "Let them try," Voss said. Human AI-assisted targeting locked instantly. 2 railguns fired. Twin streaks of metal cut through space. The destroyers never even had time to dodge. Both exploded. Mar laughed once under his breath. "They think they're fighting any other species. They don't understand us at all." "Not yet," Voss said. But even as enemy ships fell, the battleship remained a threat. It fired a full barrage. The Resolute Dawn shuddered violently. "Shields at 60%, Hale shouted. "We can't take another full barrage." Mar turned to Voss. "We need to hit that battleship before it hits us again." "Agreed," Voss said. "Line up the torpedoes." The bridge crew stared. Human torpedoes were brutal. Overkill. Most fleets feared them more than human ground troops. Firing them meant the fight was serious. Hale's hands flew across the controls. "Torpedo bays open. Target their reactor cluster," Voss ordered. "Locked. Fire." The torpedoes launched, thick, heavy, slow at first, then accelerating suddenly as they built energy. The enemy battleship detected them and panicked. It fired everything, beams, flak, drones, trying to intercept. 2 torpedoes were destroyed. 2 more kept going. The last one hit. The explosion was not bright. It was deep. A bass rumble the crew felt more than heard. The screen showed the battleship's hull tearing open from inside. A shockwave rippled through its structure. Then a second explosion swallowed the entire ship. Hale whispered, "The flagship is gone." The remaining enemy ships froze, unsure, confused. Their formation broke. Their confidence cracked. They depended on that battleship, Mar said. Without it, their prey, Voss finished. The AI spoke over the speakers. "Enemy ships are scattering. Attempting retreat." "Should we pursue?" Mar asked. Voss stared at the map. "No. Let one thing be clear, they fled from human space. That is enough." The crew exhaled in relief, but only for a moment. Because another alert appeared. A faint signal. Weak. But human. Mar frowned. "Captain. We're receiving a distress call." "From where?" Hale zoomed in. And everyone froze. "From a human outpost," she said softly. "Deep in unknown space. Far beyond our borders." Voss felt a cold weight drop into his chest. "Impossible. We have no outposts out there." Hale shook her head. "This one says it was built in secret. Decades ago." Mar whispered, "Then someone has broken a far older rule than the one about our borders." Voss stood. "Open the signal." Because if a human settlement existed outside human space, and something had found it, then the enemy they just fought was only the beginning. The distress signal repeated in a slow, broken loop. The voice was weak, rough, and full of fear. "This is Outpost Epsilon 9. Unknown hostile fleet. Defenses failing. Any human vessel. Please respond." Lieutenant Hale checked the signal again and again, as if hoping she had misread it. But every scan confirmed the same truth. A human voice. A human distress beacon. Broadcasting from deep beyond the border, in a region no human map had ever marked as occupied. Commander Mar stared at the coordinates in disbelief. "Captain. If this is real, someone built a settlement far outside human space and never told the government." Voss didn't answer. He simply watched the flashing beacon on the map, his expression unreadable. The idea was more than strange, it was dangerous. Every species knew humans never expanded without announcing it. They claimed land carefully, defended it fiercely, and never abandoned territory. A hidden outpost broke every rule of human colonial law. Hale looked up with confusion. "Sir. Should we report this first before acting?" Voss finally spoke. "No. Not until we know more. We'll investigate ourselves. Quietly." Mar nodded slowly. "You think this might be connected to the fleet that just attacked?" "Or something worse," Voss said. "Set course. Maximum speed." The Resolute Dawn turned sharply, engines roaring as it headed toward the distant signal. The enemy remnants behind them fled into deep space, too broken and terrified to turn back. Their assault had failed. But the mystery of Epsilon 9 hung like a dark cloud over everything. Hours passed as the ship raced through silent space. In the hangar, medics still worked on the alien survivors. Some woke, most didn't. One alien, a tall, thin being with silver eyes, asked weakly if they were safe. Mar visited them briefly. "You're safe for now," he said. "But we need answers." "They will not stop," the alien whispered. "The Sovereign's empire grows hungry. It consumes worlds." Mar frowned. What made them think they could invade human space? The alien closed its eyes. They found something. Something they believed changed everything. Mar leaned closer. What did they find? But the alien drifted into unconsciousness. A medic shook her head. Not strong enough to talk. Mar left the medical bay with a cold feeling in his stomach. Back on the bridge, the Resolute Dawn closed in on the coordinates of Epsilon 9. But instead of finding a small human station, the ship dropped out of FTL into a debris field. Hale's voice trembled. "Sir. I'm detecting wreckage." The screen filled with broken structures, twisted beams, and fragments of metal spinning slowly through the void. Fire still burned on some pieces. The outpost wasn't just damaged. It was destroyed. Mar looked sick. This was a colony. A big one. Hale checked readings. Not a small base. Not a research pod. This was a full settlement. Hundreds of people, maybe more. Voss felt a tightness in his chest. Humanity rarely built colonies this far from home. When they did, they protected them with everything they had. But this one had no fleet. No defense grid. No automated weapons. It was alone. And someone had attacked it. "Any survivors?" Mar asked quietly. Hale scanned again. "Checking. There's something. A faint life sign, and a power signal." Voss stood quickly. "Where?" "A structure under the debris. Shielded. It looks like a bunker." Without waiting, Voss gave the order. "Prepare a landing team. Mar, you're with me. Hale, you have the bridge." Minutes later, the shuttle detached from the Resolute Dawn and descended through drifting metal. Large chunks of the colony floated past the windows, homes shattered, towers split in two, small ships broken open like eggshells. Mar whispered, "What happened here?" Voss kept his eyes forward. "Something the Sovereign doesn't want us to know." The shuttle landed on a flat piece of wreckage. Grab boots clicked as the two officers stepped out. The air was thin, cold, and filled with dust. The lights from their helmets cut through smoke and drifting particles as they walked across what remained of a street. The bunker sat half buried under fallen metal. Its door was bent and scorched. Something had tried to break in, and failed. Mar forced it open with a metal lever. The lights inside flickered weakly. A single human sat in the corner, wrapped in a thermal blanket, shaking. A woman in her 30s. Pale. Exhausted. But alive. She looked up as Voss and Mar entered, and her eyes widened with sudden hope. You came," she whispered. Voss knelt beside her. "We received your signal. What happened here?" She struggled to speak. Mar passed her a water pack, and she drank slowly. "We were attacked," she said. "Not by pirates. Not by aliens you know." "By the Sovereign's empire?" Voss asked. She shook her head. "No. Something worse." Voss felt a chill. "What do you mean?" The woman pointed deeper into the bunker. "We found something. A ship. Not human. Not theirs. Something ancient. Sleeping. Buried under this world." Mar's eyes widened. "An artifact?" "No," she whispered. "A warning." The lights flickered again. The woman's breathing grew shaky, but she continued. "They wanted it. The Sovereign's fleet. They attacked because they knew we had found it. They killed everyone who stood in their way." Voss felt his heart sink. "Where is this ship now?" The woman looked up, her eyes filled with dread. "They took it." Mar and Voss shared a look of horror. Voss asked the only question left. "What did it do?" Her voice broke. "It woke up." A rumble shook the ground beneath them, small, but steady. Mar's hand flew to his comm. "Captain. Hale here, something just appeared on sensors." "What is it?" Voss asked. "A massive signal," Hale said, her voice tight. "It's not the Sovereign's fleet." Voss closed his eyes for a moment. "Then who is it?" Hale answered with a whisper. "I don't know. But it's coming straight for us." The rumble under the bunker grew louder, shaking dust from the metal ceiling. Captain Voss and Commander Mar exchanged a quick, sharp look. Something enormous had entered the system, something strong enough to make the ground tremble even through vacuum-sealed plates. Voss tapped his comm. "Hale, report. Now." Hale's voice came through filled with tight fear. Captain. The signal is huge. Bigger than any battleship. Bigger than anything I've ever scanned. Mar frowned. Sovereign reinforcement? No, Hale said. Wrong energy signature. This is older. Voss stood and helped the survivor woman to her feet. We're leaving. Now. The woman tried to step forward but stumbled. Mar caught her arm. She pointed again toward the back of the bunker. You need to see it, she whispered. You need to know what they woke. The bunker hummed again, like something deep below the surface was stirring. Voss didn't want to waste time, but he couldn't ignore her warning. He nodded once. Mar, stay with her, I'll check it. Voss moved deeper into the bunker, boots clanking on metal flooring. Dim emergency lights flickered, guiding him to a sealed chamber. The door was half open, torn by some force from the outside. Burn marks lined the frame. He stepped inside. In the middle of the room was a round platform surrounded by smashed equipment. Screens lay broken. Data pads crushed. And at the center stood a long, curved object, like a pod, but not human. Not any design he knew. Symbols covered its surface, glowing faintly with a pale blue light. The pod was open. Whatever had been inside was gone. Before he could inspect further, Hale's voice came through again, louder and more urgent. Captain. That unknown vessel is decelerating. It's entering low orbit over the colony. Voss ran back to Mar and the survivor. We're leaving. Shuttle, prepare dust off. The ground shook again, this time sharper, closer. Mar lifted the woman and half carried her through the bunker entrance. Outside, the sky was dark with drifting debris, glowing from fires burning in oxygen pockets. The shuttle door opened with a hiss. Voss pushed them inside and hit the close command. As the shuttle lifted, the resolute dawn came into view far above them, a calm, strong beacon in the chaos. But then another shape drifted over the horizon. Mar stared through the window, speechless. What? What is that? A ship, if it could even be called a ship, moved silently above the colony ruins. It was massive, easily the size of a city. Its hull wasn't metal but smooth, dark stone-like material, covered in glowing blue patterns that shifted like flowing rivers. It had no engines that Mar could see. No obvious weapons. It floated as if space itself held it aloft. Voss felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. That is ancient. Hale came through again. Captain, I'm sending detailed scans. The ship isn't using normal propulsion, it's bending gravity around itself. Mar whispered, that should be impossible. Exactly, Hale said softly. But it's doing it. The shuttle docked with the resolute dawn. As soon as the doors opened, Marines rushed the survivor to medical. Voss and Mar ran to the bridge. The crew stood frozen, staring at the giant ship on the main screen. Hale pointed at her display. Sir. I analyzed the structure. It isn't sovereign. It isn't any known species. This design is millions of years old. The screen zoomed in on the strange vessel. The glowing blue veins pulsed slowly, like the thing was breathing. Commander Mar swallowed. Is it hostile? I don't know, Hale said. It hasn't targeted us. It hasn't moved weapons. I'm not even sure it has weapons. Everything is a weapon, Mar muttered. Especially something that old. Suddenly, a signal flashed across the screen. Captain, Hale whispered. It's scanning us. Every officer stiffened. No one breathed. The scan passed over the ship like a slow wave. Systems flickered. Lights dimmed. The AI paused for a fraction of a second, as if the ancient ship had looked directly into its digital mind. Then the scan ended. Nothing happened. Silence filled the bridge. Until the screen changed. A message appeared in ancient glyphs. The ship's AI translated automatically. You have awakened the Guardian. Stand by for judgment. Mar stepped back. Judgment? What judgment? Hale shook her head fast. Captain, we're receiving another signal. It's coming from all around us. The whole derelict ship. Voss's eyes narrowed. Put it through. A voice filled the bridge. It sounded human. But it wasn't human. It was deep, calm, and layered, like more than one voice speaking at once. Children of Saul. You have found what the lost empires feared. The sovereign seeks power he cannot wield. Those who took our relic will doom the stars to burn. Return what was stolen. Or all will fall. The message ended. No one moved. Finally, Mar broke the silence. Sir. If this thing is a guardian, then what is it guarding against? Hale answered quietly. The woman said the ancient ship was a warning. Voss exhaled slowly. Then we need to find the stolen relic before the Sovereign uses it. Mar nodded. If he even can. Hale checked the sensors again and stepped back in surprise. Captain. The ancient ship is leaving. It's folding space. On the screen, the ship began to twist light around itself. Space warped. Stars bent. Then it vanished without sound. Mar whispered, "Where did it go?" Hale stared at the fading energy trail. "It's chasing the Sovereign's fleet. The ones who took the relic." Voss stood tall, his voice cold and steady. "Then so are we." He pointed to the stars. "Set a course. Whatever the Sovereign stole. We cannot let him use it." The crew moved with new urgency. The engines roared. The ship turned toward the unknown. Because the galaxy had bigger problems now. And humanity was being pulled straight into the center of it. The resolute Dawn surged forward into deep space, following the fading energy trail left by the ancient ship. The crew worked with sharp focus, scanning every ripple in the void. But even with advanced sensors, they struggled to follow the wake. The ship they chased was far older and far more powerful than anything human-made. Hale kept her eyes glued to her screen. "The trail is weak, Captain. Whatever that ship used to move. It bends space in ways we don't fully understand." Commander Mar crossed his arms tightly. "Keep trying. If that ancient guardian reaches the Sovereign fleet first, we need to be there too." Voss stood at the center of the bridge, silent but tense. He wasn't worried about the Sovereign's ships, they had already seen how easily human weapons destroyed them. No, this was different. The relic stolen from Epsilon 9 wasn't a weapon designed by any known species. It belonged to something old. Something dangerous. And the Guardian wanted it back. Hale suddenly spoke again. "I'm picking up something, multiple distortion events, far ahead. Could be the Sovereign's fleet dropping out of FTL." Mar leaned forward. "Can you pinpoint it?" Hale nodded slowly. "Yes. But, sir, it's at the border of Sovereign territory." The temperature on the bridge seemed to drop. The Sovereign Empire was large. Aggressive. Proud. And deeply paranoid. Humans never crossed their borders. They never needed to. But following the relic meant heading straight toward the region the Sovereign considered sacred. Voss didn't hesitate. "We go." Mar gave him a firm nod. "If the Sovereign wants to provoke us by stealing ancient tech, they must face the consequences." The ship pushed harder. Hours passed. Space grew darker and quieter, as if something ahead was swallowing sound itself. The crew felt a pressure in their chests, a weight, like the void was watching them. Then Hale's voice broke the silence. "I have them. The Sovereign fleet. 40 ships. Escort formation. Surrounding something." Everyone leaned in as the main screen lit up. There it was. Floating at the center of the fleet, a cracked, ancient pod like the one at Epsilon 9, but larger. Much larger. Glowing blue veins pulsed across its surface. "The relic." Mar whispered, "They actually brought it aboard one of their dreadnoughts." Hale added, "Energy readings are climbing. Whatever is inside. It's waking." Voss felt the same cold weight return to his chest. "Open a secure channel. They get one last chance." A moment later, the Sovereign's comm window opened. A tall alien in royal armor appeared, sharp eyes, sharp teeth, sharp pride. The Grand Sovereign himself. His voice was calm and cruel. "So the humans crawl after us. I expected as much." Voss stared at him with cold focus. "You stole something you do not understand. Return the relic. Now." The Sovereign laughed. "You do not command me, human. This relic will give my empire what yours claims alone, untouchable power. You are afraid because you know your time as rulers is over." Mar stepped forward. "We ruled nothing. We only defended our borders. But you crossed into our space. You murdered a hidden colony. You stole an ancient artifact. You brought this on yourself." The Sovereign smirked. "Your colony should have stayed hidden. Weak species hide. Strong ones take what they desire." Voss narrowed his eyes. "Then you will learn strength the hardest way." The Sovereign leaned closer, voice dark. "No. You will." The signal cut. At that same moment, the relic glowed brighter. Alarms filled the resolute dawn. Hale shouted, "Energy surge. The relic is charging." Mar's voice tightened. "Charging for what?" Hale swallowed. "I don't know, but it's building a dimensional tier. Something is trying to break through." The screen showed the relic emitting a sphere of blue light. Space around the dreadnought twisted like a whirlpool. And then, something answered. A pulse of energy blasted outward. Several Sovereign ships lost shields instantly. Hale yelled, Captain. Another signal, something huge, something alive, is pushing through that fracture. The fracture widened. Space cracked open like breaking glass. A monstrous silhouette formed behind the tier. Two massive, glowing eyes opened in the void. The Guardian had warned them. Return what was stolen. Or all will fall. Mar whispered, is that another Guardian? Hale shook her head in horror. No, this is the thing the Guardians were built to contain. The Sovereign Dreadnought tried to drop the relic, but it was too late. The blue veins shot outward like claws, gripping the ship, feeding off its energy. The Sovereign fleet panicked. Ships scattered. Some fired at the relic, others at the forming creature. None made a difference. The tier exploded outward. A huge being floated into real space, massive, ancient, shaped like a giant serpent woven from pure energy and shadow. Its body stretched across kilometers, glowing with ancient symbols. The creature opened its mouth, if the swirling storm at its head could be called a mouth, and released a silent roar that shook the stars. Voss steadied himself. Hale, tell me any weapon that works. She shook her head. Nothing. Everything we fire won't matter. Mar clenched his fists. Then what do we do? Voss stared at the creature, at the relic, at the Sovereign fleet falling apart. We don't fight it, he said quietly. We find the Guardian. It's the only thing that can stop this. Hale was pale. But the Guardian is gone. We don't know where it went. Voss turned to her. Then we follow the creature. Mar blinked. Follow it? Are you? Yes. Because it's hunting the relic. And the relic is still inside the Sovereign Dreadnought. Which means that monster is about to chase them across the stars. He pointed forward. Follow it. Hale activated the engines. The ship roared. Behind them, the relic shifted again, pulling the monstrous being after it. The Sovereign Dreadnought tried to flee, but the creature followed with terrifying speed. The chase across the galaxy had begun. And humanity was right behind them. The resolute Dawn raced through the void, engines burning at maximum as it followed the trail of the Sovereign Dreadnought. Ahead of them, the giant energy serpent tore through space, chasing the stolen relic with terrifying speed. Every few seconds, its glowing symbols pulsed, and ripples spread across its massive body, bending light around it. Lieutenant Hale grasped the edge of her console tightly. It's gaining on the Dreadnought. Their engines can't outrun it. Commander Mar nodded grimly. They thought they could control whatever was inside that relic. Now they're running from something older than their entire empire. Captain Voss stood unmoving at the center of the bridge, eyes fixed on the hologram of the chase. Hale, keep the sensors locked on both targets. Any sign of the Guardian? Nothing yet, she said, voice tense. But I'm tracking energy distortions behind us. Something is coming, but I don't know if it's friendly. That Guardian better show itself soon, Mar muttered. Or this entire region is finished. Ahead, the Sovereign Dreadnought fired everything it had, heavy beams, flak cannons, plasma artillery. The shots hit the serpent-like being and simply vanished into its shimmering surface like drops of water falling into the ocean. Hale spoke in a quiet, frightened voice. Sir. Nothing slows it down. The creature opened its swirling mouth again. Another pulse of silent energy erupted forward, hitting the Dreadnought. Shields shattered. The massive ship twisted sideways, damaged beyond control. They're losing engines, Mar said. The Dreadnought's engines flickered and went dark. It drifted helplessly. The creature closed the distance in seconds. Voss exhaled. This is where it ends. But just before the creature reached the Dreadnought, a shockwave rippled across the stars. Light folded. Space shimmered. And the Guardian appeared. Its enormous stone-like hull glowed brighter than before, runes pulsing in patterns that felt deliberate, almost like speech. It moved impossibly fast, sliding between the Dreadnought and the monster like a shield. Mar's mouth fell open. It came back. Hale whispered, maybe it followed us. Or maybe it waited. The Guardian released a wave of blue light that struck the monster head-on. The impact shook space itself. The monster recoiled, symbols flickering. For the first time, it slowed. Voss leaned forward. Can it stop it? No, Hale said. But it can fight it. Maybe long enough. On the main screen, the two ancient beings clashed. Light and darkness twisted around each other. Energy storms swirled in all directions. The space between stars bent like liquid. The Sovereign Dreadnought, caught between the two giants, started to tear apart under the strain. Hale gasped. Captain. The relic is destabilizing. If it ruptures. She didn't need to finish. Everyone knew the outcome. Voss spoke quickly. Get us closer. We need to retrieve the relic. Mar snapped his head toward him. Sir, that's suicide. That dreadnought is minutes from breaking apart. It's our only chance, Voss said. If that relic explodes, the shockwave could destroy half this sector. Hale pushed the engines, bringing us in. The ship dove into the storm of swirling energies. Electric blue lightning arced across the hull. The Guardian and the monster fought above them, their battle shaking reality like thunder. The dreadnought loomed ahead, broken, burning, and barely holding together. The massive relic pulsed at its center, tearing apart its own prison. Voss pointed at the screen. Target the relic chamber. We don't destroy it, we pull it out. Mar looked at him in disbelief. With what? Voss answered calmly, with everything we have. Hale activated the tractor beams. Locking on. Trying. I've got it. The ship shook violently as the relic resisted. Its blue veins flared, pushing against the beam. Mar braced himself. It's fighting us. Hold it, Voss ordered. The relic strained, pulsed, and then it broke free. The dreadnought exploded behind it, torn apart by the monster's energy and the relic's release. Fireburst shockwaves rolled outward, striking the hull of the Resolute Dawn and shaking the entire ship. Hale screamed over the alarms, we have the relic, but we can't hold it for long. On the main screen, the Guardian took a direct hit from the monster, spinning backward through space. It steadied itself and released another wave of energy, keeping the monster at bay. Voss looked at Mar. Open the bay. We bring the relic aboard. Now. Mar gave the command. The hatch opened. The tractor beams guided the relic into a containment cradle built for cargo, though even the reinforced frame groaned as the artifact touched down. Hale yelled, Captain. The creature is pushing past the Guardian, it's coming straight for us. The monster surged forward, eyes blazing with ancient fury. Its massive form cut through space like a blade. Engines full, Voss shouted. Get us out of here. The Resolute Dawn turned sharply, accelerating away with every ounce of power it had left. The Guardian moved to intercept the monster again, blocking it for a brief moment. That single moment was enough. The Resolute Dawn jumped to FTL. The light dissolved around them, and the stars stretched into bright lines. The ship escaped, barely. Minutes passed before anyone spoke. The bridge was shaking, damaged, and filled with warning lights. Hale finally broke the silence. We got away. Mar turned to Voss. Sir. We have the relic. What do we do now? Voss stared at the pulsing artifact through the glass window separating it from the crew. We find out how to shut it down, he said softly. And we prepare for what comes next. Hale swallowed. The Sovereign won't stop. That creature won't stop. Voss nodded once, then neither will we. And deep inside the cargo bay, the relic pulsed again, softly, steadily, like a heartbeat. Not awake. Not asleep. Waiting.